Today I'm going to do a demo on Sales Central, which is a web-based order management tool for Dynamics SL. This is a Catalina technology product that allows your remote sales, call centers, or most anybody else to have access to order management through a simple web-based application. They can create, edit, review past orders, create, edit, review customers, get inventory availability, and take credit cards and many more things. So what is it? Well, it's a web-based application. It's connected directly to Dynamics SL for instant information, being able to get customer pricing, customer information, sales order information, generate sales orders on the fly. It works with any popular browser. It allows your sales folks with web-based order management and customer management. So if they're out in the field, they don't need to have terminal access, they don't need to have some kind of remote desktop or anything like that, and it's also mobile enabled, so this application can pair down and work either on a PC or Mac or skim down into a tablet or phone or anything like that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the demo. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is log in. What we've got the ability to do is tie salespeople in Dynamics SL to a login so that that salesperson doesn't really need to have an SL login, but they just need to be able to have something that ties up to their SL salesperson ID. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm logging in as a salesperson, as salesperson BW, and I've got a password. And once I log in, I come into a screen. The screen is based on a designable screen so that you can make this look any way you want. And this is just kind of laid out in a way that we've got now. And I'm just going to go ahead and change the size. We can see that it pairs down quite nicely to be able to fit on a tablet or even on a phone screen, so that if you've got folks that are out in the field that are using a tablet or a phone, they can still take sales orders from this. So first of all, most of the time what you're going to need to do is be able to go ahead and create a customer. So I'm just going to go or look up a customer. So I can search for customers by a variety of things, and these are all configurable, so we can add additional fields, those types of things. And I can search. I'm just going to search for all customers that start with a C, and I can see how I've got them. I can search by state, name, or whatever, and we can configure these to be different search fields. Same way with what we're showing here in the grid is that we can go ahead and show different information so that it's easier for you to go ahead and bring things back and be able to go ahead and find the customer that you want to be able to find. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on one of the customers, and it's going to bring back that customer. And why don't I go ahead and create a new order. So once I come into new order, then I've got a variety of things that I can do. I can choose where I want to ship it to, and so if I change to the different ship to address, you can see it automatically changes the address. I can override these fields if I want, and we could also lock it down if you don't want your reps to be able to modify where things are going to get shipped to. So it can really do pretty much whatever you want it to do. I'm going to put it back to the default. I can change things like freight terms, order types. Now what we do on order types and terms and ship vias is we can lock those down. So what I'm only allowing this sales rep to be able to do is to be able to only do quotes and sales orders. But we could go ahead and open it up to as many as you want, or we could always default it to one particular type of order. Same way with your ship vias. I'm limiting this list and even renaming it, renaming the labels in here to make more sense to a salesperson than, say, the 50 or more ship vias that you might have in here. Same way with terms and freight terms. These are tied to the customer. And then we could allow the rep to change these if we wanted to, or we can lock it down as well. So again, all these fields are customizable. We can rearrange them throughout the screen. We can make them look differently. We can also add custom code behind it, just like you can do in the SL screens and customization manager. We can go ahead and customize this to do pretty much whatever you want. So now I've got that. I can also then add some line items. So if I wanted to look up some items, I can do that. I can search by a variety of things. And again, this is all customizable just like any other one of our screens that are out here, and I can kind of view these. Now, to also understand, we are doing customer pricing. Now, I don't have any pricing for these ORs, but if I go into HON, I can go ahead and do that, and I can see what my pricing is for this customer for these items. So whatever you set up in SL's sales price configuration, we'll be able to pick up. So SL has a lot of different ways to go ahead and deal with that. What you can also see is we're showing different quantities in the site ID. We're splitting these all out by different sites. And if I clicked on the quantity by site, so say we've got this one line item or this one inventory item that is located in multiple sites, we could go ahead and then show all of the quantities in the different sites. So if you look here, this is for HON 672-L for this site LA. Site quantity is 174, total quantity is 174. So you could end up with more total quantity if the same product is in multiple sites, so then you'd be able to click on the quantity by site. Now this is just out of the box functionality. We can go ahead and make this look any way you want, so that if you wanted to arrange these in different ways, if you wanted to say consolidate them and then just allow SL to figure out which site to ship them from, we can do that. But in this case, out of the box, we can go ahead and show different sites, different quantities. Again, this is all web-based, so the folks that are out in the field can be able to go ahead and have access to this. So I'm just going to choose this guy. If I wanted to put a line item discount, I can do that. I'm just going to say let's put 2. I can add that, and it adds it to my item or my order. Now, another thing that I'm not showing here is I'm not showing it calculate. So this is important because SL, when it needs to go and calculate, it does a whole lot of different things besides just calculating. It does planning and a whole lot of other things. So your folks that are out in the field probably don't need SL to be able to do all of that calculation for them all the time. So what we're allowing them to do is quick add items to the cart or to the order, and then once they get to a stopping point, they want to figure out what it's going to be, I can then hit recalculate, which probably there we go. It recalculated, and you can see now the order totals. So I can add another few items in here. Let's add this OR crank. I'm just doing a quick add where I don't have to go ahead and look it up. I can just type in an amount, and I can, let's not give any discount. We'll put a discount like that. So now I've got a 2% discount and I got a 0% discount. What if I wanted to go ahead and globally update all the lines? I could go ahead and say, you know what, I want 4%. Just hit that. And what that'll do is go ahead and put 4% to everyone. If I wanted to, let's change this, and I wanted to give this guy 40% off on this particular product, I can do that. So now I've got a 4% and a 40%. So now let's say I wanted to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to do 12% global discount. What this does is it spins through all the line items and updates anything that is less of a discount. So it's not going to change my 40% discount. It's just going to go ahead and make this guy a 12% discount. So we go through each one of these. So this is just a little functionality that is a quick handy thing to have in the screen that'll allow you to be able to do quick discounting, especially if you've got a sales order with say 50 line items. It's going to be difficult to go through each one and update them. So it just allows you to deal with that. So I can go back and also modify some of these. I can edit this, and not only can I add these, and again, as I've mentioned before, we can go ahead and add more fields, remove fields, put additional validation on fields, all of those types of things. So right now I'm only allowing quantity, discount, unit price, and notes. Let me just put in some notes. I'm going to copy and paste. It just makes it a little bit faster. So I just put in a bunch of notes in there. But if you've got user fields, if you've got, like say, the request date or any of those types of things, we can expose those so that you can deal with that. So if I hit OK, now you can see a little quick icon here. This line item has notes. I can quick pop that up and I can see the notes of that without having to go into the line item, and it just allows me to get there a lot quicker. So I've added a few line items here. Let's add some miscellaneous charges. Miscellaneous charges are just ways to add additional items to the order. And I'm just going to search. I can see a variety of here. Let me just add a rush order. I'm going to add $12 and add some notes. If I hit add, it just adds that item to the order. If I hit recalculate, it's going to go through and actually go back to SL and say, calculate this order. Now, one thing also is I added an item to the order and put it at a low profit. So this also is grabbing business rules from SL and telling me about it. So it's telling me that the line item that I added 0RCRANK is below the minimum margin. So that's fine. I can go, okay, that's not a critical error, but it is something that needs to notify. And so I've gone and I've been notified that, hey, this is a problem. But on my miscellaneous charge, I've got that $12. And if I look through here, I can see that I've got my miscellaneous charge. I can see all my discounting. I can see my line item my merchandise amount, and then my grand total. So this is just adding more and more things to the sales order. I can also add order header notes. And I can go and put it on hold or administrative hold. This is a little space here that we can add additional fields like user fields or whatever. So we've just got some additional things. And then payment, we can charge a card. So we currently integrate with MaxQ's Charge It as well as EHTC's Auto Charge, or we can go ahead and go direct to a payment processor if needed. So if you're already using Charge It or Auto Charge, we can integrate with those. Or if you want to go ahead and use another payment processor, like say Notice's PayFabric or PayPal's PayFlow Pro or Authorize.net or any of those types of things, we can also integrate with those as well. So if I go ahead and just charge a card, I can go ahead and choose my card. I'm going to just put in an amount there and put in, let's see, what is that, 709.27. Usually what we would do is have that charge amount automatically go in and automatically fill these, but in this implementation, the customer didn't want that, but we can automatically fill all the billing address, the shipping address, the charge amount, all of these types of things. And also if we're using a product like say Notice's PayFabric, we can go ahead and have cards on file that's stored in a PCI compliant data storage, so we don't have to store that. But it's stored somewhere else, so that way you could go ahead and pay these with a card on file for your customer. And then I just charge that card, it goes off, does its thing, and it adds that card to the order. So then once I've got everything dealt with, I could recalculate it again if I wanted to. It's going to go ahead and give me this alert, that's fine. And then now I can go ahead and save it. Oh, we've got rules in here that allow me to go ahead and also make sure that that we can go ahead and make sure that PO is required or any of those other types of things. So I've got to go ahead and put in PO number. Just put in something there, and if I hit save, It's then going to go ahead and use all this information, including the order type and everything else, and generate a sales order in Dynamics SL. So it allows me to go ahead and use a web browser and be able to bring back, be able to create a sales order, and then I can see all things. I can even see my event history. If I've had any shippers or any of that, I'll go ahead and show an order with a shipper real quick. But let me go ahead and bring up SL so I can show what's gone on here. Okay, so I'm just bringing up SL. And let me just bring this down so I can see what order number it is. Handy F3, and that's 27. There it is right there. And if you can see, I've got my 2 line items. You can see that I've got my header notes. I can see my line item notes. Now let's say somebody in the home office needs to go and change something. I'm a sales guy that's sitting out in the field, and say they just change this to a 3 and then save it. If I go back to my web page and I hit refresh, immediately that information is now available to the website. So I don't have to wait for anything. So if any changes are made to the sales order, regardless of what it is, I'll have that information and be able to get that type of thing. So let me go ahead and look up a past order. And let me just put an old date in there. I'm not sure how far back it is, so we're really going back into the 60s. We'll hit OK. And let's see, I think this one might have something in it. And so I see this is an older order. It's been closed. I can see that I've had multiple line items. I can see that I've got shippers. If I click on this, I'd be able to drill down and see what my shippers were. I can look at my event history and all that type of thing. So it allows your sales guys to not only be able to create orders in the field, but also look up orders while you're out in the field and do things like edit an order if it's not closed yet, or even copy an order. So I can go ahead and take this order and then create a brand new order. So it copies everything that was in this order. So if I have miscellaneous charges, notes, or whatever, and then I can go ahead and tweak it. So I could add some additional items, or I could go ahead and say, you know what, I only want to do 9 of these instead of 10 this time. And all the discounting, everything else is already done. And then I can hit save, and PO required. And I can hit save. And so it's now going to take all that information and create a brand new sales order. So this really goes ahead and empowers your sales reps out in the field to be able to do things. You can also go ahead and deploy this to, say, help desks or other folks that need to have access to sales orders, customer information, shipping information, without having direct access to the SL order management screen. So they don't need to install the thick client or have some kind of remote desktop access. All they need to do is be able to have any kind of modern web browser, and they can go ahead and have access to it.